Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Big crowd all ready for it. And the four gentlemen on here, or the three joining me anyway, because we don't have in control this time, are also looking forward to it as well. Gentlemen, we have arrived at a final that is a PvP. That's not what we expected here, was it?
Actually, it was.
Yeah. Was it?
When I look at the bracket.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't say that, Todd. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot you guys are Protoss, right? Yeah, silly me.
No, it's not about that. But in all jokes aside, Johan brought this up as well the first day, or at least from the playoff, and he's like, there's a good chance it will be a PvP final. And I looked at it and I said, Johan, you're on the butter.
Finally, after giving me the biggest burn of the entire show. Thank you, Roddy. Thank you.
Actually giving you some props back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, PvP. And herO, brilliant champion in the past.
Yeah.
4 finals now. Can you believe that? I mean, it's taken however long it is. I didn't know, like 9 years or something.
Yeah.
Just to see someone get into 2 finals. And now he's made 4.
It's amazing how dominant herO is, not only throughout the Intel Extreme Masters tournaments, but also through the qualifiers as well. Yeah. Every single time. It's not like he gets invited here, aside from one of them where he didn't get any prize money. Apart from that one...
which one was that?
Apart from that one, even though coming second, he always comes through the qualifiers. And he's always looking dominant. He's always looking impressive. So to be here again, and in a final again, is truly extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. He's played fantastically well. We expected him to play well. He's delivered. Rain, on the other hand, might not have set the world alight through the group stages and through the playoffs, but he's done enough to get to the final, which is exactly where you said 5 days ago he would be.
Yep. After he defended that proxy gate in style on Overgrowth, I looked at Joe and I think different. And I already knew he was really good. So I'm not too shocked
I think your words were actually, I don't know if I can play Protoss like that.
Exactly. Well, that's still how I feel, how I watch him. But I have to admit, a couple of times throughout the tournament, he didn't look as untouchable as I thought he may have been throughout this tournament. But in the end, I still think it was a very convincing showing by Rain. I think he's going to be amazing in this final as well. But he's going to have to work real hard for this one. This is definitely Rain's biggest challenge of the tournament so far.
Mentally speaking, you three, herO has already given up the high ground, hasn't he? By admitting that he didn't want to play Rain in the final, by almost giving him that mental edge by saying, I'm afraid of you. And Rain said, well, I thought we had an agreement, we were going to play in the final. Is that going to play any part?
There's a problem with this as well, and it's that traditionally herO keeps winding up in PvP finals and he keeps losing to them. So please, scout in your main herO.
Yeah, this guy, he just keeps on not scouting on very, very important series. I even forgot when the last time it was, but...
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah, in Toronto.
I remember Artos
in Toronto, and he did it in Katowice as well.
Artos is asking how many thousands of dollars herO was going to lose.
BlizzCon.
Yeah. BlizzCon as well.
I was about to say, it was more recently. It was like BlizzCon where he didn't scout. And it was like, come on, if there's one Protoss in the world that you check every corner, every tree on this map, it's you, herO. Because no one has lost more money against these silly builds than you do. I think it's going to be awesome, though.
Yeah, okay. And in terms of Rain, where does he have... where is he frailed? You see, where can herO maybe find a way in through some of the builds that Rain's got?
Well, the thing is, with PvP, you're going to see a lot of scrappy games where a lot happens early on, which decides then what kind of game this goes into. But usually, we can be seeing pretty fast games here. It's going to be a lot about micro initiative, you know, maybe getting lucky here and there with either a build order or scouts. And if you're Rain up against herO, I guess both players, their best state of mind to go into this match should be, I'm the better player. I'm just going to play straight up, most likely with a lot of blink play, and try to outplay my opponent from there in terms of maybe expanding here, sometimes committing to aggression and all that.
Okay, predictions time. Who is going to be the San Jose champion, James?
I love that we start with him.
That's fine, that's fine.
But he chose to sit there, that's the problem.
Roddy's correct. Rain.
He's giving...
Wow. Okay. Roddy's going with Rain.
Yes, I am going, but like I said, I do think this is his biggest challenge of the weekend. It's not going to be easy, and I actually think that despite everything we know about PvP, and it can be a very short and explosive matchup, I wouldn't be surprised at all if 1 or 2 of these games go to distance, and when I say distance, I mean Archons and Tempest and beautiful things like that.
Lovely.
I'm actually conflicted because I'm trying to think about who Artosis will predict to win these finals.
I think Artosis would say Rain.
And choosing the other one.
You think he would say Rain?
Yeah,
he
I
probably
think
would say Rain.
Artosis would say Rain.
Oh, then it's settled, herO.
Okay, that makes perfectly good sense to me, actually. Right, we are ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Rachel, it's all yours.
So much. Thank you, everyone at the desk, for doing an incredible job all weekend long. Can we give a round of applause for our desk up there? Now, we have spent the weekend here at the SAP Arena, home of some of the greatest sports in Northern California, and now home to Intel Extreme Masters. We've had an incredible weekend, $25,000 on the line, as well as 4,000 WCS points. These gentlemen represent the best of the best here at IEM San Jose. So please help me bring them to the stage one last time. Give up a warm welcome for CJ Entis, herO. I love the jog, I love the smile, and I love the cheers from the crowd. Let's see if you can match it for his opponent. From my insanity, it's Rain. Busted out the sponsor jersey for this one. All right, gentlemen, please shake hands. Ho-ho! Let's hope this is a friendly match. Casters, take it away.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. This is the IEM San Jose Grand Finals, brought to you by Rain and herO, two players who traditionally have a horrible time in PvP best of sevens.
Well, one of them needs to have a good time today, Day9, because one of them can walk away a champion, and one of them must walk away a champion.
What a disaster it would be if they both lost today, Apollo.
That would be a problem we'd have.
Indeed. I mean, of course, many people cannot forget the brutal loss that herO suffered to SOS at the winner-takes-all $100,000 final IEM World Championship. herO, it hurt so much to to watch because of the losses to the proxies.
He's had so many big losses, but as much as that's hurt his experience and career, I think that's going to build him up to be able to do well against Rain here. I think he's overcome it now, Day9.
Well, the funny thing about Rain is that both he and herO have tended to follow the same trend in their losing big best of X PvP series. Both of them tend to be more on the defensive, trying to withstand aggression to get to the later stages of the game, but they keep fumbling to those early blink plays, combos like Oracle plus aggression at the front. So it's going to be interesting to see how two generally defensive, long-term minded players match up against each other.
Yeah, I think they'll both take it very cautiously at the very start of this series, which is going to be on King Sejong Station, then going over to Nimbus, and so on forth. Mind games are going to be incredibly important here to be able to choose the right build orders, to get the right advantages at the start of each of these games, Day9.
You know, mind games, Apollo, are something you and I love to talk about so dearly at BWC.
That's right. Mind games are everything, especially in a PvP here in the grand finals of the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose.
I mean, on King Sejong Station especially, it was designed to have oracles kill you. There was someone designing a map, and every time he went oracles, it wouldn't work, and he thought, well, cool, if I just make 2 entrances into your main and a giant space behind the minerals where the oracle can hide, that'll make me feel better.
And he succeeded in his design. It's one way to gain an easy victory here, and we could see that to start off the grand finals here. Of course, both these players playing for that trophy on stage, their share of $25,000, first place being at $10,000. And of course, the WCS points for 2015 are on the line. 750 points going to the winner, 500 for second place. We are moments away from starting the grand finals here.
And what a critical moment in the career for both of these players who, as of late, have more so been known as that solid Protoss that should probably do really well in this tournament, but don't have a lot of wins. I mean, especially Rain. He has at best gotten to semifinals and fallen, and here is his first big final event, his big chance to show off his stuff.
All right, up here is the blue Protoss player. I think we're going to have to gamble with which one this is tonight, because I don't know which one it is.
We don't know who this player is. There's no mark.
It's herO!
And by deduction, in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the red Protoss Rain! You know, I just need to take a moment to enjoy that at the start of these tense finals. We were looking at the screen, we introduced the players, and there was literally no marking to indicate who the player was. And I realized this is actually the first time that one of the first mirror matches of this entire tournament, of course.
Yeah.
I think the first PvP of this entire tournament.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually seen any yet. And what a PvP this is going to be. herO versus Rain, a great matchup between two very skilled players. Very excited to see how this one's going to play out. Can herO be a 3-time Intel Extreme Masters champion? Is he going to have 2 wins, 2 losses? Rain looking for his big trophy here.
You know, already look at this, we're seeing herO. herO has scouted his main. What an incredible victory. I mean, I love to joke about that. Artosis especially pointed out the monetary value of not scouting your main, but you know, what really separates a solid player from a world-class player is little tiny moves, hundreds of little tiny moves, each of which get you a fraction of a % better win rate, all when added together give you a grand finalist.
Well, herO scouting a little bit earlier on, and I don't think he caught the edge of that probe there, as Rain sent it to the bottom left, just checking if there are any proxies. And sending out 2 probes here, very different here. This is definitely going to be a proxy structure. You send out 1 probe to show the probe of your opponent that you are scouting in a normal way, while sending out a second one. It is going to the bottom left-hand side, and as you called it at the beginning, Day 9, it looks like we are gonna potentially see this Stargate come to play.
And I actually don't think that's much of a risky play. I mean, we're even seeing Rain plant it very far away. So this is primarily meant to be hidden, less to be close. Also, this pylon, if unscouted, provides an excellent counter location for warp-ins. And Rain, oh, interesting, opting to open for a sentry. This is also a great way to distract a player. If you see a sentry, it's very easy to conclude down the wrong path. Early expands begin with sentry first. There's a lot of blink plays that begin with sentry first. But not as many players go sentry and then Stargate.
Well, herO leaves the main base of Rain as the mothership core pops out, and this is where he's not going to know what's going on. And a Stargate placed down by Rain, but likewise, on the other side of the map, inside herO's main base, he is also chosen to go Stargate here.
You know, I do tend to over-tote the Phoenix in this matchup, but especially given how high the percentage of oracles are, I would not be surprised at all to see herO go straight for Phoenix, especially given that the Stargate is planted in his main base.
Well, it's going to be a big difference between Phoenix and Oracle here. Phoenix beats Oracle, depending, of course, when the Phoenix is. Both players going Oracle could cause quite a hectic game here. So Stargate's very close to finishing up. A second or third gateway immediately down here by herO. So herO is going to be on the aggression. Both players going to go for this Oracle. Both mineral lines.
Oh, there it is. He's going for the Phoenix. Oh, what a read for herO. I mean, you said both going Oracle, and then the cancel followed up. Both players, of course, playing very cautiously, getting the extra 2 gateways. We see the mothership core from herO trying to get in a scout.
And pokes into the main base here. It's going to take the hits from this Stalker, and then we recall out. He pokes in, sees these gateways. You're just Twilight Council.
You gotta know. The second Phoenix should be rallied into the main.
Well, there's no second Phoenix in production yet. This Oracle's going to go in. There's only 1 Phoenix to the other side of the map. It turns around as he spots the Oracle. There are 3 Stalkers, though, so this is pushed back. Rain doesn't deal any damage to herO, and the Phoenix on pursuit. It will clean this up very easily.
This is unusual. I mean, this is absolutely going to be a tremendous win for herO right out the gate. An attempt at throwing down a revelation. This is, I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Apollo, but this is mind games. It is generally considered terrible at all levels of play to get the Stargate and then to build 1 Phoenix and stop there. This is herO tricking Rain into expecting a volley of Phoenixes, huge numbers to come.
Well, herO takes the lead in this game. Expansion's put down as well as the robotics facility. Rain has a pylon on the other side of the map. Is this going to push him into aggression? He's For every second that goes by, falling further and further behind because of the Nexus being there, because of the robotics facility and the future Immortals. And he's already found the probe. This is a huge pick-off for herO because the closest pylon is so far away. It is very, very difficult and now unlikely to see any form of attack come out from Rain. But he's still building Stalkers. He's built 3 more.
Oh, herO went within inches of seeing that pylon, didn't. Not the biggest deal, though, because herO is almost identical to Rain in terms of the blink production, and herO has the extra Nexus for defense.
This is crazy. He has the Photon Overcharge to use on the natural here. He can start to build Immortal soon. There's no close pylon. There's no easy reinforcements for Rain. How can this work?
This is just perfect mind gaming from herO and nothing else. He absolutely read Rain like a book, and the Nexus is about to finish, and herO even has the Observer done to be able to spot all of this.
I mean, this is just going to be a very easy hold here for herO. He blinks back, he can use the Photon Overcharge, he's got an Immortal on the way here, and at this point, Rain must win the game. Whoa! The Mothership Core gets taken down, so we only have 1 Photon Overcharge, there isn't going to be a second one, so at this point, herO just needs to get the Immortal, build a second one, and just stay calm, take the high ground advantage that he does have, because he has the Observer here. And the Photon Overcharge buying a lot of time. There is a 4 Stalker difference between the two, 3 Stalker difference between the two. herO, Observer, eyes on the Stalkers, Immortal coming into play now.
Single Immortal, no probes being produced, only pylons. Can't even risk trying to set up for a better late game economy. Rain knows that he got mind game. He's adding on the extra gateway. Rain knows he needs to win this here and now.
And the Observer keeping full track of everywhere where these move. More Stalkers get added on for herO. He holds this, he takes map number 1. A very tense moment. A micro battle will take place here. And the Stalkers start to blink back here, but the kind of upper ground advantage is so big at this point. Rain can't see on the high ground.
Which means herO gets to set up a better concave. He knows how to angle the concave. He can place the Immortal perfectly to minimize the chance that it's going to get killed. The clock is on Rain. He has to start sniping Stalkers, sniping anything that he can to begin getting a more guaranteed advantage. And now the Mothership Core is going to attempt to be that edge.
18 Stalkers to 21 here. Advantage over to herO though. And then Rain blinks aggressively forward, picks off the Immortal. The Phoenix comes in to lift up a Stalker to assist herO in the defense here. It looks like herO's defense should be good enough here. He's got the better spread, he's got the higher unit count. Is it going to play through?
Oh, it's going to be close, Apollo. Both players have excellent blink control. We see the Stalker count ever so slightly favoring Rain at 11 to 10, but the probes start to come out, and the lift, the subtle lifting of that Phoenix disabling one at a time, and there is GG.
herO takes map number 1, and he's fist bumping there as he's 1 step closer to his 3rd championship.
And that is a very bold way to open up the series. Again, I mean, I can't say this in that many different ways. It is almost always a horrible play to go Stargate 1 Phoenix. I mean, the Phoenix can't even do anything by itself. It can just lift a probe and set it right back down again. But it was the perfect way to deny the Oracle, which would deny the scouting. And because it's generally so bad to do, it puts a big expectation on Rain of what exactly herO's going to be doing.
Well, Rain's got a wealth of experience here to kind of play with, to assist him going up against this giant of a player here, herO's. So much Intel Extreme Masters experience pushed him closer and closer towards the tournament victory, another tournament victory. And by the looks of him on screen, feeling confident and very pleased with the way that first map went.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be stepping away to a very brief break, and we will see a very happy herO leading 1-0 before we go into game number 2 between these two players. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mind Games let herO pull an early lead 1-0. But the first map is perhaps one of the most mind-gameable, and PvP is, of course, the matchup where the opening decides a vast majority of the games throughout StarCraft 2. Only at the highest level do we see pros tend to figure out all the subtleties they need to get to mid-game consistently.
And of course, in a strategy game here, the first game, very important, is to start to feel out your opponent on how he wants to approach playing you in this Grand Finals. Of course, a huge shout out to all of you joining us here in San Jose. Thank you very much for coming here to witness this IntelliXtreme Masters tournament live. We've had a lot of fun here, day 9, and let's close this one out with lots of fun and some epic games.
What I'm most excited for is the mid and late game of these two players. They shine the deeper the game goes, and most of their big losses have been in the early game in those big tournaments. But my God, we're going to see so many fireworks. It's like Roddy said, going all the way between these two players, Archons and Tempests.
Whew. Cannot wait for the mid game.
Now, honestly, I think that if you're in Rain's shoes, you're unlikely to fall for that sort of thing too often. There's only so many different tricky moves you can do, and a build that Rain I've seen do before is this unusual 2-gate Robo plus Dark Templar opening, which sounds like it's trying to do too much, but he builds so few gateway units and then has all the flexibility there. I mean, we are seeing just 3 gates as part of a ton of different openings, which is certainly effective to apply pressure, but I mean, I really think that Rain should be relying more on his get a fast second base builds.
All right, well, we are loading in to map number 2 now. Let's jump right into it here on Nimbus. Day 9, take it away.
Up in the top left-hand corner, a 4-time finalist of Intel Extreme Masters. Give it up for CJ herO!
Looking for that 3rd trophy, but down here, looking for his very first is the red Protoss player. Playing for My Insanity. His first tournament for them, it's Rain! And My Insanity, over their history in StarCraft 2 and their signings of new players. On their debut, they seem to win tournaments. Stardust, of course, Sanctuary as well. Can Rain complete the hat-trick here for My Insanity? It would be a fantastic achievement as in his first tournament, but he is going up against a home favorite here at the IntelliXtreme Masters.
Yeah, I mean, that honestly is a huge pressure to be under, where herO really developed an enormous fan base at the IEM tournaments, and we were playing on stage, and you feel like the crowd is happy to see you mess up. I mean, those little distractions, those little mistakes that you could shirk off on another stage or in another setting, or especially back home in practice, just sting a lot more and distract you a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. This map here on Nimbus can be very friendly towards expansion plays, as you do have that back expansion to use to your advantage. Nice and tucked away here. And we'll see if that's going to be the case, because right now we do have 2 slightly different openers. We have Rain, who has taken fast double gases, compared to herO, just on a single one so far.
I mean, we really don't see single gases almost at all lately. I mean, sometimes we'll see players get a gas and then count to 10 and then get the second gas, but almost always, if players want to go for a gas light build, they will emphasize pro placement, just putting 2 in each, or 2 in the first one and 1 in the second one. So here, when I see herO do this sort of opening with the quite delayed second geyser, oftentimes this is a gateway play, because you just need about 50 to 100 extra minerals to eke out the extra early gateways plus units.
Yeah, and you can see by the resources to the top right, the difference between the both of them is herO has more minerals, whereas Rain has more gas at this point. So we'll see where they decide to put their respective resources as Rain slaps down a Stargate instantly here, which is scouted here by herO. It's a very fast Stargate. He's not bothered if it gets scouted or not. It's all about the speed of it. Whereas on the other side of the things, mineral-heavy herO has gone for a Stalker first and then decided to throw down this Twilight Council. The Stalker, will it be out in time to deny the scouting? It's going to be very close here as the probers enter the main base.
Whoa, 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 whoa. The Stargate got canceled and the Twilight is what replaced it on Rain's side.
Rain
but
scouts the Twilight inside there. But yeah, great switch up here.
yeah.
Very mind game heavy.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do not like the Stargate first opening on this map. On a map like Habitation Station, you can go 11 gate, rush for the Stargate because you're guaranteed to deal so much damage. But given that Rain is in cross-map positions, the Stargate is going to have such a hard time retreating no matter what move you make. I think it's reasonable for Rain to pull back into Blink because it's such a solid play. Oh, awesome.
This is so sexy here from Rainy. Shows the Stargate, and of course when you see a Stargate, your very first reaction to seeing it is like, all right, well, I've got a Twilight Council, I'm going to get Blink, because Blink's going to help my Stalker's mobility against the Stargate units. And Rain, upon knowing that information, says, okay, cool, he's going to play like this. I'm going to go for the counter of that, which is Dark Templar. And of course, Dark Templar against the Twilight Council with no detection or anything is pretty much an instant win. The problem here, though, where is the pylon? Where is the probe? Out for Rain. He's actually managed to sneak it on the left-hand side.
Oh, fantastic.
There it is.
And if this is the same build that we've seen Rain do before, he's going to pop down a Robo. He's going to pop down a Nexus. He's not going to even commit very many DTs to this offensive. Sometimes he just does one.
Oh, well, Rain denies the scouts of herO here, but there's still no detection here for herO. He started up with a 1-0. The robotics facility comes in for Rain, but here's a probe. Goes in, has a look, sees dollar signs, it sees a victory, it sees no robotics facility.
This, I think, is an error from Rain. Why would you scout with a probe if you open Stargate? If I'm herO, I'm going to be going, what is this doing here? And herO similarly just goes, dude, I'm going to waltz right into the main base. If you're herO, you got to know. You have to know to build a robo right now.
There it is. Facility, but is it going to be too late? It's right there. The first DT is on the other side of the map. It's inside the main base of herO. There's another one following up very shortly. And here we go. How much time is going to be done? 1 probe, 2 probe, very easy kills. Another Dark Temple is actually defending here, and it's just instant GG, and Rain ties up the series here in a very fast and furious grand final.
I'm so thrilled to see Rain just pull herO right back to even. It's resetting the series to a best of 5. I mean, Rain, so typically, he would just pull back to Blink. He'd go for Stargate, go to Blink. Sometimes he would just begin the game, and he'd go to Blink. And then in this game, he sees an opportunity to use the DT build that had brought him a ton of success. And I mean, this is what we're starting to see Rain do lots and lots of. He has the same builds that he's had in his repertoire for a long time, but he does a fake out and then pulls back to the same build. He gets to use the old knowledge and combine it with some free wins like what we just saw.
Beautiful, beautiful game there from Rain, tying this up, showing that this is not going to be a walkover and that we have a grand finals on our hands. Before we jump into game number 3, we are going to run a quick commercial break, but stay tuned, don't go anywhere. The grand finals will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a fast-paced start to this PvP finals. herO and Rain tied 1-1, each putting a win under his belt with an extremely straightforward mind game trickaroo.
Well, let's hope that continues, because I like trickaroos.
Well, part of me also wants to just...
You want to get to the mid to the late game. I heard you say that before.
Yeah, because there is suddenly a huge range of possibilities in PvP. I actually don't want to say suddenly. I think that my frustration with Wings of Liberty PvP was so strong that I'm still thrilled that in Heart of the Swarm, Tempest, Immortal drops, Zealot Warp, and Zealot counters, you don't always have to focus so much on the Colossus in this matchup. So these players, given their ability to manipulate tactics and to continue to force extra expansions and longer games, just excites me so much. But man, we are seeing the tension peak right at the start, where these players are realizing a single misjudgment is doom.
Well, will we ever get to the mid to the late games of this Protoss versus Protoss finals? As both players, as you said, just looking to end it really fast. But here is game number 3.
In the top left-hand corner, an incredible, stunning, mind-gaming PvP legend. It's CJ herO!
And the crowd goes wild. Down here to the bottom right-hand side of Foxtrot Labs. As the red Protoss player playing for My Insanity. Make some noise for Rain. It's been raining a lot in California recently, Day 9. So I'm very used to this.
Foxtrot Labs is the sort of map that has enough awkward angles that I think that there is almost no successful early expand build that you can really pull off. I mean, some of the cutesy stuff you can do is with the ultra-fast gateways, but this is the game that I expect both players to be getting a pretty quick robo, a pretty quick third, and not doing anything tricky.
You think we can get to the mid to late game on this map then?
Yeah, I mean, both players they've had one of those losses that you feel a little red-faced about, where you're like, oh God, he killed 2 probes, and I didn't want to let the audience see more probes die, so I just got the hell out of there. I really think both players are just gonna go, look at this, we see Rain just checking his base briefly, going on the outside edge of his assimilator.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question for you. Do you think that we'll see any proxies throughout this series? You think one of these players will be brave enough to pull it off?
You know, I think that we might in sets 4 and 5, but I mean, historically, these players get more and more and more defensive. They get increasingly less willing to take risks as series go on. I mean, for that exact reason, I'm looking at this game and going, yeah, I mean, they're probably just going to go for everything normal. Rain, I actually think, is just sending this probe out because he's like, man, that last game was dumb. I don't want anything dumb to happen. He's going to go in. Yeah. Both players, I think, are just going to go Stalker Mothership Core right away.
Well, with the early probe scout here, Rain does sacrifice a little bit of his building time. Of course, the probe's not working back at home. As you can see, when it comes to the cybernetics core difference, there's a slight advantage here for herO. Second gateway has been thrown down, as Rain's probe goes inside the main base of herO and will spot that second gateway. And from here on out, still, all possibilities are available here for herO to choose from, whether it be Twilight Council, Stargate, Robo less likely immediately, of course, as Rain has 3 options now to choose from as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. They are not doing any post-cybernetics core tech structure. They're getting the mothership core immediately. Yeah. I mean, it does build up energy, but won't be used for the photon overcharge generally. It'll often be used for the super fast scout recall. And it looks like herO is preparing to do exactly that. He's like darting right out.
Well, Rain has chosen the Twilight Council here. More than likely going towards Blink here is the most popular way to play this matchup. But nothing from herO, just units as of yet.
There is a possibility that we'll see Rain throw down the Dark Shrine and do his 2-gate Robo expand Dark Shrine play. But I mean, with that extra gateway popping down right now, it's increasingly looking like a Blink opening.
Okie doke. Well, units are going to meet in the middle of the map here. Rain's got to be careful because there is a Mothership Core and also another Stalker not too far away here. Blink has been researched, but herO, with a probe on the other side of the map and now a 3rd gateway coming in, he will be applying pressure to Rain. But if Rain doesn't really take damage from this pressure, he will have Blink. He will outclass hero's units very easily with this ability here. So herO needs to do damage, and just remember that the Mothership Core is on the other side of the map, that is not going to have energy for any photon overcharge, which means that Rain is going to be vulnerable before his Blink is ready. He doesn't have this buffer from the Mothership Core.
This is the worst possible situation for Rain. The instant herO saw that Mothership Core, he knows he is in good shape. He's going to continue to apply pressure. He knows there is zero chance of that Mothership Core coming back successfully. Though the micro is incredible for Rain, Rain has got to be perfect every single time with this micro. Otherwise, he's just going to get run down.
And that was perfect. 2 Stalkers staying alive there. Probes coming off the line to buy some time. He's got a Sentry to buy even more time here. And he's very close to getting that Blink upgrade. And from that position on, he's actually going to find himself in a wonderful position. I cannot believe that he was able to keep those 2 Stalkers alive. Very well played.
One of the most perfect controls I've seen in those early game scenarios. Almost certainly players wind up trading Stalkers, but especially for Rain. He has done 2 things brilliantly. One, microing like a god there to lose the minimum, but also keeping the Mothership Core alive. And then it's going to get back in the main. It's going to get the perfect scout. Rain sees absolutely everything. He even sees the 2 sentries. That's a signal that there's an expansion in the plan.
The Mothership Core is going to go down here, but look at all the aggressive pylons that we have on the other side of the map for Rain. He's finished with his Blink upgrade. He realized his Blink and 3 gateways versus 3 gateways without Blink. Obviously, he's in an advantageous position. He wants to push this further, and he's warping in aggressively. The Mothership Core of herO spots as he blinks.
And he gets it down! That is tremendous! The 2 biggest defensive tools for CJ herO's follow-up is the early Nexus and the Mothership Core. The Nexus cannon is the critical defensive piece against this Blink Stalker opening. And now, Rain can contain herO. The Nexus is not down. There is not an opportunity for the Immortal to pop down, and suddenly herO has to waste time getting the Twilight Council, getting that Warp Prism.
Well, is there going to be an engagement here? There is an Immortal. That's actually very good for herO, and he's going to break down this ramp before they can take it. Even play taste. One of the force fields does land on that ramp and does hold herO back for now. I don't know what that force field was.
This is to block the Stalkers from picking off the single Stalker that herO has at the far left side. A very subtle, very brilliant force field there for herO. Rain now still going to find the opportunity to swing in and pick off those 2 trailing units.
Rain holding this position very smartly. He's going to pick off that Stalker and blink backwards. He can still contain his opponent on this one base. There was a Warp Prism that was just built here and is on the get-go to the other side of the map. The Nexus is down for Rain. Here's a big warp in for herO, and if he does this well, what he'll be looking to do is drag the attention here of Rain back to his main base to force him to look at his screen on his main base to defend, and then that could present an opportunity for herO to break down, and with Blink and another gateway on the way, to launch an attack with equal amounts of Stalkers and that Immortal into the mix.
Oh, this is such a smart play for herO. herO's going to walk directly into the main base, and Rain is low on money right after the expansion. It's very uncommon to be able to deal with this well. The Warp Prism means that herO is going to get 2 rounds of units in, threatening this main base, and suddenly Rain is on the back foot. He has to pull back, he has to retreat, and he doesn't quite have the funds to pump out of his gateways.
And that is a lot of Zealots doing a lot of damage here for herO. A great choice to go for this Warp Prism, and it is paying off here as he breaks down his ramp very easily, of course, after ranged units have been forced to retreat, and the amount of damage that's been dealt here by these probes.
And we still have the Warp Prism alive. It can still retreat. We see that Rain is doing his best to delay a reinforced attack, but I mean, the damage has been done. We see that this expansion is going to pop up for Rain, and Rain is going to feel pretty committed to building Immortals rather than Stalkers.
Yeah, brilliant play here from herO. Absolutely fantastic as he pushes himself to the other side of the map. Now he's warping in 3 more Stalkers to join his forces together. Maybe he'll have enough to actually take a fight versus Rain. We'll see.
Now, in the main base of herO, I don't know if he finished that 4th gateway. It looks like no, he did cancel it. I mean, sometimes you can build the 4th gateway and fake your opponent into thinking you're doing the Nexus, and then do the simple cancel, flood with another round of Stalkers and win. But, I mean, herO is very clearly just intending on going for my favorite part of this matchup, Apollo.
And the mid to late game.
Oh, yes.
Well, the Warp Prism still active, as we do see an engagement by both these players, and herO jumps forward and picks off 2 Stalkers for free. Excellent move forward, and then the Warp Prism on the other side of the map as well, dropping off a couple of Zealots to to try to get to the mineral line. Forces the photon overcharge on that main nexus.
This is where I'm going to be very interested to see the next steps of these players. Oftentimes, this is where we see the gateways shut down and the robos spike up in production. herO's going for a more classical approach, start getting Colossus early, so that way, once a mid-game fight begins, you're guaranteed to have the lead. In terms of the pure brunt might of a mid-game army, it's all about the Colossus.
When is Rain going to add on his robotics bay then? Because he's just now taken double gases on the natural. Where is he going with his tech choice?
I think Rain is going to be going for the non-stop immortal production, getting a forge, taking a third, getting more gateways. It's a more map control oriented style where you don't get the Colossus, which is slow and expensive. Instead, you get more gateways. You get Archons. You have an immortal Archon core army, and then you transition to Tempest if you're really feeling scared of Colossus.
It looks like that's to be the case so far here for Rain. As we are going to move into your favorite part. And lots of Colossus. Colossus eventually are going to be the key units. I mean, once you get to 3 Colossus and more, they are huge. They deal so much damage. Pylon's been thrown down to the top of this map here for Rain. I'm not too sure why. hero's going to find one of these. He won't find the other.
Well, what herO is doing is this, just emphasizing on the scouting and the chrono boosting out of all of the Colossus. But what Rain is doing is trying to set up for when he has Templar and more gateways.
And that's where the Templar Archives is going to be hidden, to the north of this map. He's going to start to sink his gas there. And could plan a very nasty attack into herO.
I'm surprised to see, though, Rain is not getting any additional immortals. I think he just has 1, maybe 2 right now. And typically we see a player do nothing but build immortals, and then do nothing but expand, be aggressive, and there we go, there's the immortal coming out now. So yeah, it looks like Rain is going for this extremely Archon immortal heavy style.
Oh, he's going for researching Storm here.
This is a nice little play. It's a much more extreme form of punishing play.
Well, I mean, if he, lands Storm into the mineral lines.
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah, I mean, the whole point for Rain's style is that Rain has more mobility. He's going to go Blink Stalkers and have a few more Stalkers. He's going to get more gateways and have a few more units out in the middle of the field. And now herO, he's going, this is great. I'm going to get the lead in Colossus. I'm happy to sit back. And Rain needs to do as much damage as possible while herO is in the sit-back mode. And that's what the Storm Drop is all about.
Both players haven't really figured out what either of them are up for right now, but I think the Warp Prism isn't that far away. It's just here. There are Stalkers around in that main base. That's an expensive load here within that Warp Prism. And Stalkers here for both players.
Again, this is not going to be good because it arrives quickly. It's going to be good because it arrives as herO moves outside of his base. So Rain I feel like should have already taken an expansion right now.
Well, the Warp Prism on its move to the other side of the map here. Here comes the drop. 1 Storm, gets rid of about 5 or 6 probes there. And then it goes down. So 7 probes in total. Pretty successful, I think you can say. But, I mean, you can see by the worker difference it was successful, but was it successful in the way that he can defend against the Colossus because he didn't invest into a lot of army, more so the Templar and Storm?
I think Rain was starting to become aware that he was not looking like he was in a good spot. He began to overbuild Zealots back home. Zealot-like speed is not done. That's going to make those Zealots almost irrelevant. And I think herO might be able to pull off a nice move here, which is the Colossus. But meanwhile, back home, it looks like Rain has leapt into action with all these Blink Stalkers. Suddenly, the economy of both these players is under threat.
Yeah, shields down low after that Storm. Another one does plant itself. But herO with 3 Colossus here is absolutely dominating this fight. There's Zealots without charge, they're not really doing anything in this fight. The shields are down for these units, but not the hit points. There are Stalkers on the other side of the map, but this army here from herO, can it be contested?
We've seen all the Zealots fall, but the Immortals are still alive. They managed to pick off one of the Archons. This is an entirely Immortal countered army, Stalker and Zealot. And in the meantime, we see Rain has ripped this economy of herO to shreds. Both players are operating on mostly fumes right now. And we see at the natural expansion, 5 Immortals.
And a 6th one on the way.
And Rain now reinforcing with Stalkers of his own to guarantee that herO can't even comfortably run from this without being blunk upon.
All right, well, the Stalkers doing more damage into that probe line here, but 3 sentries coming in to try to divide these Immortals away. The 2 Colossus dealing out the damage slowly but surely, but more and more Immortals here. Some of the shields going down, a couple of force to push these units back. Will the Colossus do it? Is Rain going to make the defense possible? These Immortals just simply won't die. One of them goes down. And great control here from herO, but is he even breaking through?
I mean, it's going to have to be light units in production here for herO. He's opting to get Zealots, Sentries to zone with force fields and to absorb hits from those Immortals without letting his precious Colossus or Stalker count fall too low. The Immortal shields have been broken. They're starting to get low. Still 4 remain on the field. The Mothership core's down. Both these players' supplies are so low. A blink forward from Rain. He takes down one Colossus. The Immortals still chewing through absolutely everything. And Rain has managed to defend.
Yeah, well done there by Rain, picking up the Warp Prism, and will push back herO from this location. But the game is not over yet. Both players trying to recover their economy losses, as both players took a lot of probe damage throughout that. But the game moves on here.
This is a weird game for sure. Both of them plummeting back down close to 30 probes each. We see Warp Prisms continuing to get produced. Rain is not interested in staying passive. He wants to continue to reduce his opponent's economy because Immortals do tend to stack up in value when you get a lot of them.
Well, down goes that Observer nice and easily. 3 Immortals here for Rain. Huge in these fights as Rain continues to build up Archons and Zealots here. Warp Prism on its way too, so we could see another Templar drop as herO tries to recover his Colossus count after losing all of them there. And there is the load up. And with such a low economy game here, if these were to land into the probe line on this second base, this could be huge. I mean, pick up 20 probe kills when there's only 30 on the map for your opponent.
I think it's particularly clever that Rain is favoring so few Archons, because the main reason you go Immortal Archon is to protect the Immortals from Zealots. But there's not that many Zealots, so this is an easy way to, Ooh, this Colossus is looking like fresh meat.
3 probe kills here, and here comes the Warp Prism, and it's going to try and get into this probe line. Here comes Rain with the Storm. 2 great storms there, and he's able to pick up quite a lot of probe kills and pushes herO down a 60 supply compared to 90. Both these players not wanting to expand, but 2 bases is good enough for this. herO chasing Rain to the other side. It's 30 probes for Rain, 20 for herO.
I think this is a sensible move for herO, but still one that shows a little bit of desperation. He needs to go into Templar tech of his own, because quite honestly, he just doesn't have that many minerals anymore. So I think herO is feeling like he has to win on just 2 bases. He might halt his Colossus production at just the pair, reinforce with Archons, and just try to extend the lifetime of those very few Colossus as long as possible.
And it's going to be very difficult for herO to eventually take this fight here, as Rain is just building up and powering up to end this. And with the army that he has, it's very likely he's going to do so as he comes in again with this drop that cannot be stopped at this point. Going to try and drop into this, and there we do have 2 more storms coming in. An additional 10 probes have been killed here, as the probe count now very, very low for CJ herO, and the push to end the game from Rain is on its way. And a fantastic PvP between these 2 players, but it looks like we are going to have one of them move to the next round.
We're seeing herO pull back. We're seeing the Mothership core needs to throw down that Photon overcharge, the Time Warp. And there the Archon at the front, designed to soak up as much damage as possible to let those Colossus Rain fall. Storms, such a clever move against a Stalker-heavy army. And we're seeing herO, the player that typically would be chipping away at his opponent.
Well, he tries to pick up some of these high tempo, but the counter blink coming in from Rain is going to push them back in. Here comes the potentially last fight of this game as Rain is dominating it.
GG. Rain looking so on point, looking so sharp with his choice to go for that Templar tech, but again, not the typical Immortal Archon mix, using the Templar Storm, and then only later getting the Archons. I mean, if your opponent doesn't have Zealots, the Storm is a much better use, and especially those Storm drops. I mean, that puts so much pressure on herO. He doesn't want to keep making Stalkers.
Sorry, what was that, Dana?
I mean, well, herO doesn't want to keep making Stalkers with the Warp Prism coming in. I'm sure they'll be able to take down the Warp Prism with the High Templar inside of it, but if you're making Stalkers into an opponent making Zealot Immortal, I mean, it's going to have such a temporary use.
Well, I wonder if we'll see a similar style come out from Rain coming into this next one. Do you think he'll do the same again?
Well, I mean, it really depends on his opening game read. Oftentimes, if a player says, oh, you're playing a little bit more defensively, great. I'm just going to do the Immortal style. honestly, it's kind of hard to stay alive if you're focusing too much on the Immortals early on and not enough on some of the other units. But if you see your opponent playing a little passively, you can get set up very, very nicely with no pressure.
Well, herO started this series with the first victory on his side, and he was smiling and was seemingly enjoying himself in that booth. And now the pressure's on, as Rain has taken the next 2 games and is looking to move forward 3 games to 1 here as we get closer to finding out who will be the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters here live from San Jose, the last large StarCraft 2 tournament for 2014. And the next map is now loading. herO versus Rain. Is herO going to get that 3rd Intel Extreme Masters Championship? Was the first ever player to get 2. Naturally, is going to be the first to get 3 here, but Rain looking to rain on his parade, Day9.
Well, honestly, both these players have attacking as their only goal. When we saw the players plummet down to 30 probes each, Rain immediately went for another Templar drop. So excited to see on this map merry-go-round what they'll have in store. In the top left, currently down 1-2, the 4-time IEM finalist, CJ herO!
And up here to the right-hand side of merry-go-round as the red Protoss player playing for My Insanity, it's Rain! Merry-go-rounds, an aggressive map here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this map, it's so hard to get a 3rd base in general, and in PvP, I mean, often in PvP, once you can break through towards the 3rd, there's a sort of unfolding set of clarity of like, okay, well, here's my goal for the 4th, here's my goal for the 5th.
Yeah.
But on this map, it's just the same struggle with every expansion. It's like, geez, how do I get that 3rd base up? Oh, geez, how do I get that 4th base up? Every single time is a nightmare because the center expansions are almost immediately discarded because Colossus have such an easy time slaying the probe lines. So then you have these corner expansions that are a million miles away. So often we see players rush for 2 bases, because that's easy to defend, and then just kind of try to get a game-ending advantage there.
Well, no differences between the 2 players so far, just the regular gateway timing. Double gas has been placed down by both as well. No probe scout yet from either players. herO's actually checking inside his main base just to place a pylon down here. This could be a potential location for a key tech structure. Also can be used for scouting if there were a unit to fly in from this direction. Naturally, he's going to have a bit of a faster reaction time, of course, by seeing it earlier. Blink is pretty popular on this map, but another strategy that's pretty popular is actually a 3-gate style like we saw previously from herO.
Yeah, I mean,
if you see that play.
If you look at the ramp to the expansion, it's the sort of ramp that's really nice in almost all the matchups, and PvP is one of those exceptions where it's pretty straightforward to break that very early on, and especially given the distance of that ramp to the Nexus, it means that Photon Overcharge isn't as amazing at forcing you away from the high ground. You know, on a map like Kingsjong Station, a Photon Overcharge actually covers even down the ramp a little bit, so you don't even want to step up to look.
Both players.
Both go sentries.
Both go sentries.
How telling.
Yeah, it looks like we could be seeing an expansion play come out from them. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but usually is.
I really like this opening that I've seen Rain do a couple times where he goes for the Twilight Council. He then follows it up by getting Dark Templar, second gate, Robo, expand. We see Rain doing the Twilight Council right now. We see, yep, herO looks like he's going for the expand with a second sentry.
Yeah, so the expansion's been placed down, and herO is going to get this revealed. There is a probe from Rain that's about to enter the second base. So Rain goes in, and now he knows that he's already got this Twilight Council down. He knows that he is playing against this expansion play. Does he want to try to, you know, go blink against it? Does he want to try to break this second base before it's up and running here? A Stargate is the immediate follow-up here from herO.
Cool. I mean, part of this read comes from the fact that you're saying, wait a minute, I don't see any stalkers. But also going for the Stargate right here can be extremely powerful because you pick up map control on a map where your opponent's probably going to be going to base for a little while, where it's going to be not very comfortable to go get a third, where you actually can do really excellent scouting.
The earlier probe scout from Rain, of course, hurts him initially because it's not working, but in this game, it's actually benefited him a lot because of the information that he's been able to gather here. We do see a Oracle flying to the main base, a hallucinated Oracle flying to the main base, and forces a Photon Overcharge out, so not only has Rain seen the expansion and got an expansion down at his own pace, we see herO rushing out extra gateways in case that he is going to be attacked, and on top of that, being forced to use his Photon Overcharge. Just all through that initial probe scout here, so Rain taking a bit of a lead in terms of the mind games and just understanding of how this map's meant to play out.
Yeah, and we see already Rain is doing one of the most super duper duper defensive plays ever. Rush for Blink, expand, get some gateways.
Yeah.
You're not really going to be able to do much of anything since you're low on units, but ooh, I like this, getting the second Oracle. Again, the 2-base economy is so critical that often you can punish a player the second he moves out.
Oracle moves in and immediately gets pushed away here, gets a single kill. Does survive, but not really gained its worth. As the second one is going to come to the natural 2. Maybe if he goes in with one and goes in with another at the same time, he could get what the cost of these is worth, but so far not.
I mean, I can kind of see an argument for trying to run it in. You know, your opponent almost has Blink, so you want to get all the kills you can now, but that wouldn't make sense if you're going for the second Oracle. Really, herO is trying to get some sort of tricksy play going on here. And I mean, herO is just, I think 99% just going to go straight for the Colossus here and just try to mass that up. Rain, excuse me, herO's going to be going for the Colossus. Rain, I definitely think, is going to be going for that Immortal Archon style as we see the Forge go down.
Well, 4 probe kills in total here for herO, which has given him a bit of a supply advantage overall. They're very similar in terms of their tech structure and just kind of infrastructure overall, because both having Blink, or one of them having Blink, sorry, one of them now starting the Immortal production. Where is the next key decisions? Robotics Bay, or as you said, Twilight, Templar Archives coming in. Hallucinated Phoenix from here from herO, just having a quick look inside, as he now throws down also his Twilight Council.
Well, it looks like herO is, definitely now seems to be claiming that he wants to be going for that more mobile style, which I suppose makes sense. That's also in line with the Oracle, but I'm seeing herO's pass style, I'm still a little surprised because he really does love to go Colossus in these positions, so he has something a little bit new planned. This is weird. What do you make of that? What is going on in herO's mind?
He picks off a couple of probes, kills off the sentry here with those Oracles. Overall, he's in a bit of a lead, though, I think, here. He's got the Immortal production down faster. He's catching up with Blink. He's got the +1 attack. Very similar here to Rain. A lot of extra gateways have been added on here for Rain, as well as that Templar Archives. But overall, herO still with that 10 supply lead.
So here's the basic play that Rain's going to be going for. A Warp Prism to do massive Zealot warp-ins in the main. He's going to have 8 gateways. These little pokes that Rain's doing right now, just getting basic scouting information. And Zealots, even if you're against Colossus or Archons, they kind of die quickly. So what you want to do is do the Zealot warp-in in your main, so I deal damage, and then you have a bunch of useless Zealots left over that I can easily kill in the fight. It's kind of a weird, counterintuitive thing, but it happens in pretty much every PvP context.
Probe moving out there, gets instantly picked up by Rain. As both players adding on a lot of gateways, both on very similar tech choices. We have Storm being researched again by Rain. Are we going to see that research by herO? If not, how do you think this is going to play out? I mean, one play going Storm, one not going Storm.
Knowing herO tends to rely a little bit more on stuff that he's really tested a ton. I would fully expect straight Archon, no deviation from herO. Rain is now putting himself in a position where he kind of has to rely directly on these Storm drops.
Well, I mean, they're going to be huge in this game. If he's able to plant some of these Storm drops and get the kills that he was getting in the previous game, he is going to take a lead, and he could be looking at that 3-1 lead overall in this series. As we are seeing herO move through. Of course, he started that Immortal production much, much earlier on than his opponent. Here are the High Templar from Rain, looking to deal that economy hurting damage here. But if he lands these, and then of course continues to build up and move into a very similar style that he had in the previous one. He found himself in great position as he's going to slow down herO so much. Charge now just 5 seconds away for completing here for herO as he moves out with his own Warp Prism with very different instructions compared to this one.
Yeah, I mean, Rain is sort of flipping this on his head. He's saying, I'm going to do the counter drop with Storm, and I'm going to keep all the Zealots at home. But, I mean, herO is... Look at how few Zealots are in this army. He's just now adding a handful more, but it's mostly a super high-tech army. And it's that Warp Prism on the right where herO is going to be doing all the warp-ins. But this Storm drop is the big play for Rain.
Oh, 2 great Storms, and he kills a lot of workers there. A good pick-off from Rain, getting 10 workers, reeling his opponents. And now herO hoping to do very similar amounts of damage, but with just 4 Zealots, I think we're all going to agree that 2 High Templar have got a lot more potential than 4 Zealots. And here comes a push forward from herO. Does he have enough to actually tackle that army? I don't think he does.
Well, it's going to be very difficult to compute because Rain has an extremely Zealot-heavy army, and the Archons are designed to deal damage to that. But one of the Archons is getting stuck up at the top side. Need to keep those alive. herO is doing the usual. Whoa. Oh, what a Storm. He's doing the usual warp in on the main, attack at the front. Already a successful attack for herO.
Yeah, successful attack. Gets that cancelled. Don't forget about that Warp Prism, though. That's still on the other side of the map, but we could see come into play back into that probe line. As Rain surrenders the 3rd base, but he's coming in again. A good Storm, but better reactions coming out from herO. Is only 7, I say only 7 workers go down. Only a 3 difference from previous. But Rain took nicely on these 2 bases. Can easily storm this ramp here if herO decides to attack up into it. And he is going to decide to do this.
Wow!
There's a lot of storms available here for Rain.
Oh, Rain's Zealots are all stuck behind the force fields, behind the Stalkers. The Archon Immortal army for Rain holds most of its high-tech units alive. The storms land on the Immortals. The Zealot count is plummeting down. And it looks like herO is not able to deal too well with these storms. But the reinforcing Zealots mean that now that the Templar are out of energy, they're able to get to the front line, deal critical damage, and Rain, it's unclear if he's coming out ahead or behind in this fight. I mean, the 3rd base for herO is down.
Worker supply in lead for herO, but overall army supply majorly an advantage for Rain here as he continues to add on that Warp Prism with a High Temper on the other side of the map, still a threat. And a very interesting playstyle here from Rain. Deal critical damage with the Warp Prism and High Templar while building up a very similar army, and just overall having more stuff.
It always feels embarrassing when you unload and they're like, no, I'm not ready yet. And you're like, all right, quick, get back in the Warp Prism. I mean, with this force that Rain has, though he is up in army supply, he has 4 Archons and 2 Immortals, and I think herO just has a few more of the power units. Ooh, wow, actually got cut down to 3 Immortals with 4 Archons at the front.
Rain's moving in again here. That Warp Prism can come around to actually assist in this. And Rain looking to see if he can go 3-1 up. And herO's caught in a bit of a difficult place here. He's going to be slammed against the wall. There are storms available as the Warp Prism comes around. And 2 fantastic storms here from Rain. And he looks like he's going to slaughter this army with reinforcements getting warped in. And herO is getting beasted. He looks like he's going to lose 3 in a row here. Fantastic play from Rain.
Rain punishing the fast 3rd base. GG. The storm-heavy style showing versatility at both against Colossus Stalker tech, against Zealot Archon Immortal tech.
Wow.
Rain really making stunning use of this Warp Prism. He looks almost happy that his opponent is taking a faster 3rd.
Well, what do you think about the storm drop style that we're seeing out from Rain? And what is the best way to deal with it? How are you meant to actually not take damage versus this and not just lose these games?
I mean, I feel like an almost derpy solution is just build a single Phoenix. The reasoning is, once you get to mid-game, Stalkers have negative value. Though they might be able to blink under and kill off a Warp Prism, they do terribly versus... they do terribly versus Zealots, versus Immortals, versus Archons. The single Phoenix can both kill off the Warp Prism, get some valuable scouting information, and let you play the game that you want to make. It forces Rain to get pylons on the map, not Warp Prisms.
Well, Rain has won 3 games in a row, just needs 1 more to be the Intel Extreme Masters champion of San Jose. But before we jump into that, we are going to take a very quick commercial break. But when we come back, our next game will be starting straight away.